we have got the transfer window. So,
Yes.
for those who don't like football, look away now. Now, we'll keep this as short as possible because I know it's mainly about New Year's resolutions, but we'll cover probably 15 to 20 minutes of the transfer window.
Let's just call this the football section in general. So,
Yes. And then we'll go on to listen to this afterwards because we have listened to this for the past few weeks only because it has been quiet in terms of new music and things. But it's getting back together.
But we've got some good stuff coming up anyway. In terms of Tottenham,
yes,
I think you can probably talk a bit more about Tottenham's transfer ambitions, than I can about Arsenal, because there hasn't been much coming out about our. I guess I could see one I've seen at 11:29 this morning. Julian Brandt has been linked with us.
Who is he from?
From Borussia Dortmund.
Is he the midfielder?
Well, I hope he's a creative midfielder.
I hope he is for Arsenal's sake.
Because that's basically what we need.
Yeah.
He's an attacking midfielder / left winger. So that's basically he's who we need. He has 35 caps for Germany.
One thing I could touch upon though is that it's been confirmed that Mauricio Pochettino is now PSG's manager. I think a lot of Tottenham fans alike are pretty much they're thrilled for him because they felt really sorry for Poch when he got let go. He was never a hated manager by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't think you should have let him go personally. I think he was.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, he was doing quite well at the moment under Mourinho, but
we needed some sort of lift.
Poch,
yeah.
I don't know. He connected with his players a lot more, and he had more self-belief in them. Whereas you have Mourinho constantly bemoaning Dele Alli and whatever.
I think. I mean, I don't want to create speculation, but I think in terms of I'm not. I don't think he was backed up enough. So I think he was very limited. Obviously, you had Ndombele, but I'm sure we could have. That transfer window, we could have brought a lot more in. I mean, we were on the verge of signing Dybala, and we didn't get there. We waited till the last minute, and then the image rights thing came in, and then bam, it was just all off, and it was just so shockingly embarrassing to see. We let Dybala go, and then what happened? He just flourished the next season in Juventus. So what I've heard, the latest I've heard is, and it's been going on for a while, is the Marcel Sabitzer. There's been high-tiered information about Sabitzer saying that he would like to move to the Premier League and that he's open to join Tottenham. From what I've seen from Sabitzer, he's been very good for Leipzig. He's been one of their star players, and I think Tottenham at the moment, they've got some good creative players, but I think that sole creative person like Eriksen would be good to fit into the team, to kind of back up Kane and Son. Because if you want the perfect Kane and Son show, you ideally want them both up front, kind of complementing each other, and then that person to feed it through to them. And I think Sabitzer would be a good fit for that. Another one is that Eriksen has been rumoured to want to come back to Tottenham, and I know from the documentary that Daniel Levy said that he didn't want Eriksen to go and that there was always a place for him to come back to. So I mean, he hasn't been doing very well in the Italian league.
Has he not?
No,
he's been keeping up.
He's been a bit of a flop, to be honest. So
really?
I just think it probably wasn't what he expected. I
gotta say, I would take Eriksen in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
I've always been banging the drum how good Eriksen.
The worst thing the thing I'd hate to see is him go to somewhere like Man U or somewhere like that. I don't want him being picked up like that. It broke my heart when Fernandes went to Man U, and Tottenham didn't snatch him up, and that was the other embarrassing thing, that we could have got both Lo Celso and Bruno, but we were just very stingy at the time. I think as long as we still have the debts from the new stadium, I think we will be like that for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I think Jose did say that he's not totally fixed on the idea of having new players. He's like, well, if the club can give me something, that's great, but I'm happy with what I've got. But he has also said that he wants a defensive midfielder and a centre back. So maybe we'll go back in for Skriniar. Probably need someone to help complement Højbjerg. That would be the ideal thing, because we need. I think our problem at the moment is when we have our defence set up, it's great, but then it leaves little room to be clinical. And I think players like Bergwijn, they are great runners and they're good at finding the positions to finish in, but the finishing itself, that's another story. And I think he's just missing that little spark, and I think he potentially can do it, and if he's not, then the only other player I could see doing that is Bale, because I've seen Bale be quite clinical in some matches this season. People are very hard on him, but I think he hasn't been playing football for a bit, and he just needs to brush it back up. Lucas, I don't know, Lucas just seems very missing on the pitch at the moment. Like our right midfielder or right winger section is just kind of at an all-time low, whereas our left is seems more the attacking area. Like even Reguilon can play as a left back or a left winger. You've seen him play both positions, and he does it rather well. He's great at tracking back, because he's just like a thunderbolt on the pitch. So
who would you who would you say? We have Simi saying Ericsson down tools. If I was a Spurs fan, I wouldn't have him back. He threw his toys out the pram and stopped performing. Do you agree with that?
I would say so. I think it's hard to. It's one of those things when you want a new challenge, isn't it? And you're kind of sick of your job. You perform. You don't perform as well in it because you're just waiting to go somewhere else. So I think Ericsson probably he would put more of an effort in, but I think we have enough room, we have enough depth in the squad to say if he doesn't perform as well, then he won't.
So who personally would you want to bring in, and B let go?
So I think my top one would probably be Sabitzer, because I think Sabitzer, it would be that finishing touch to apply to the creativity in the midfield. To let go, I would, contrary to what other people say, I would not say Dele Alli, because I think Dele Alli is on a bit of a maturity path now with his play style. He's been getting better now, and in a more consistent way as well. Harry Winks is a bit of a iffy one. Like he's been playing better later on in the season, so I think there is potential there for him. Ultimately, though, I would probably have to say Davinson Sanchez.
There you go. Simi's just said Davinson Sanchez.
Yeah, I at the moment, because of, everything's blacking out and stuff on the Twitch, I can't see the chat at the moment until I put it back on.
I'll keep up with the chat comments.
Yeah, but I think Sanchez. The thing with Sanchez at the time, he was our record signing. And he's been good, he's been bad, but 4 years in, and he's just been very inconsistent. And I think after 4 years, you've got to say it's just time for him, just time to let him go. You can't if you're going to give some players a rest and bring some players who can do the job well in, then Sanchez is still not the player to do that. You get impact subs, you get all those kinds of players, but Sanchez he'll make a silly mistake that will lead to a goal, and that will lead us to a draw. Or in the case of players like Aurier, they've been playing extra well. Even though we didn't,
he had a shaky start, Aurier, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a great game against Liverpool. I mean, he gave Mane a run for his money, and it was unfortunate that we lost that one. I think we did have the potential to win it, despite people saying, we were sitting ducks. But I think that's just been the play style. We've been more counter-attacking this season, and people mistake that for just parking the bus. But it's
here's one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Moussa Sissoko. Because he's getting up there in years as well. He's 31 now.
It's difficult to see with Sissoko, because from what has been said, he's a very positive influence in the dressing room. So I think he's good for that purpose. I think that he's just, I just don't think he's that natural of a player. if that makes sense. He's big and he's strong, but I think passing wise, I don't think he's the best at, like, when it comes to accuracy and things like that.
We've got Simi in the chat saying, thanks for taking Sissoko from us from all that money. I think that sums up how Newcastle fans feel about that.
Pretty much.
It's a bit like when Everton took Iwobi off our hands. I was laughing all the way to the bank.
I mean, we tried to return the favour by trying to hand you Danny Rose, but you were smart with that one, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I'm noticing this article you have up, Real Madrid chase Son.
Yeah, this has always been a thing. Like, people are trying to snap Son up, and I can understand why.
I've got to say, right, from my personal perspective, I feel like if Poch was still in charge, Son wouldn't be going anywhere. I just feel like because it's Mourinho, and because Mourinho has a habit of not being a people person as a manager, it feels like more likely you'll have some unexpected departures. That makes sense.
I think you'll get departures from the people who don't want to, they don't want the inside competition. Like you've seen, this is why players like Aurier and those kind of players have gotten better now, because Doherty's come in, and we'll get on to Doherty in a minute, because I've been really disappointed by Doherty so far.
He got sent off.
He got sent off yesterday. I have no idea what was going through his mind, but I don't know if there's frustration there, and he's losing out to Aurier, and I get that he's in a bit of a different position, but I don't think that relates to getting sent off for a second yellow. But I think the people that will stay are the people who thrive in the competition. People like Kane, people like Son. Maybe
you have to keep Son and Kane together.
Yeah, Bergwijn I think will stay, because like Son wasn't the best when he started, but now he's just been he's world class.
He's an
player.
Absolute world class player.
And I think Bergwijn has a lot of potential. He just needs to get there. I think he's the one with the biggest amount of potential at the moment to get good.
So in summary, then, coming in, what was the player you said you wanted to come in again?
Marcel Sabitzer from RB Leipzig. Yeah,
Sabitzer, and then going out would be Davinson Sanchez.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in terms of Arsenal, then, we have had. I mean, if you'd have asked me this 3 weeks ago or more, I would have said just get rid of a lot of them. Bring in an entirely new squad built around Smith Rowe, Saka, and Tierney. Now we're at an interesting. It's almost as if like it's the Godfather 3. It's just when I thought I was out, they dragged me back in again. Because we have had three Premier League wins on the bounce, conceding 1 goal. Once against Chelsea, then against Brighton and West Brom, who obviously, Brighton and West Brom are both struggling, but just the fact that we've just mentally how that's going to affect the team now. And in all 3 of those games, we've had we haven't had Gabriel. Our centre backs have consisted of Holding and Mari. So that might actually be the key centre back pairing that we've longed for.
Yeah.
And obviously Gabriel can do as a good backup, and then and we have Chambers who's due to come back, but I don't feel like he'll contribute that much, really. He could be a decent backup, I guess. Get rid of Luiz, get rid of Socrates, get rid of. I mean, Kolasinac has already gone on loan to Schalke for the rest. Do you feel like? Thank God.
Do you feel like at the moment Arsenal are snapping up Chelsea's sloppy seconds in a sense?
Well, Willian has not covered himself in glory so far, to say the least. He's just, and whoever decided he should be snapped up on a 3-year deal at 32 should hang their head in shame. I thought the days of Gazidis giving over-the-hill players ridiculous, large, 6-figure salary contracts was dead and buried, but we still have that in us, it turns out. So I already said Julian Brandt is one of the main ones we look. Vinicius Junior.
Vinicius Junior, yeah.
That's the only other one I've really seen us being linked with. But just a creative midfielder, I would love. I would love just I would actually love another goalkeeper,
Yeah.
because we've only got Leno and Runason had a mare. Let's be honest, against Man City. Just as a solid backup option, you've got Joe Hart in the team, for example. Joe Hart's never going to play, but he's at least a solid. And Gazaniga, he's probably never going to play either, ahead of Lloris. But
I think Gazaniga's going to be out the door in January. Personally, I would not like to see him out the door, but I think that's going to be done.
So
I think Liverpool could snap him up, or
yeah. Here's what Simi's saying. If me, I'd do these outgoings. Saliba loan out. Yeah, I'm really, really sad about Saliba. I felt like he could have been the answer. Young, plucky French centre half. He was an Arsene Wenger signing that Emery brought in, pretty much. And he could have been going somewhere, but he just hasn't settled at all in England. I just think he's homesick, and it was the wrong decision to bring him in. So yeah, loaning him out. Chambers, I would love to keep just because of his drive and determination. He's got heart, Chambers. He's not the best centre-back in the whole world, but he's a lot better than David Luiz and Mustafi and Socrates. And Mustafi and Socrates obviously they've got to go. How we have held on to Skodra and Mustafi for this long blows my mind, because no one will take him, basically, because he's so shit. Socrates, he just hasn't worked out for him at all. He's just not. He's a bit of a madman. He kind of just loses his head. Ozil. We're at a strange kind of impasse with the Ozil situation now, because we're at a point in January now where we can bring him back into the team and re-register him as a player.
Yeah.
And I feel like just for the rest of this season, just so we don't get any closer to the relegation zone, I can't believe those words came out of my mouth, but it is a real possibility. And we get into Europe by winning the Europa League, because that's the only way we're going to get into any form of Europe, right? As a creative influence,
struggling here, aren't you?
I know, I'm so struggling, but just as a creative influence, and the way the winds have blown this season, and things have changed, and mentality and player mentality and managerial mentality have shifted focus and fluctuated all throughout the season for us. He could be an option, I feel, just as a backup. I'm not saying, and Ozil wants to play. Like, he keeps saying he wants to play over and over again. This is, if we do bring him in and re-register him as a player in January, this is without a doubt his last chance. Absolute last chance. If he doesn't set us on fire as a team, right, and put a rocket up our arse, then he's gone, right? And this is the last season of his contract as well. So why not bring him in as an option and let him leave?
It's better than nothing, isn't it? It's better than how you're playing at the moment.
Nelson, Nelson again. He's one of those players that I want to see a lot more of, and I just don't think he's been given that many. I don't know. I'd rather loan out Willock, personally. I think Willock has he needs work. The only thing I've ever seen him do is that 40-yarder against Liverpool. But other than that, he's been pretty anonymous, as has Pepe, which is just that has not really worked out either.
But like, how does Pepe go from like being a massive influence in the Italian league?
Yeah.
And
he's at Lille.
Sorry, Lille. Yeah. I don't know why I thought he was in. Yeah. Because doing this,
it's a whole different ball game, the Premier League, to Ligue 1. Especially if you're in a team that like Lille, who don't even challenge for the league.
True.
Every year.
Yeah, that's the thing you always got to look at as well. Is like the stats, but compare it to the league they're in. It's a no-brainer.
Runason and Scheich should never let Emile Martinez go. If we'd hadn't let Martinez go, we wouldn't have brought in Partey. So I feel like that was a sacrifice that kind of. If it was up to me, I would have rather let Leno go and kept Martinez.
Yeah,
but Leno has been good. He's definitely improved, right? He since last season, he's had a definite improvement in his game.
Yeah,
it just can't be helped that he's got a bunch of bloody idiots in front of him.
Yeah,
you know,
because Poch is now in PSG. Tottenham fans are worried that he's going to snap up Hugo Lloris, and I'm like, I don't think that would happen per se. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But then people are like, oh, who would you get in as a result? And people are saying Carl Darlow. And like as much as I think Carl Darlow is an exceptional goalkeeper from what he's done this season, he is 30 at the end of the day.
I mean, Simi probably wouldn't like Carl Darlow to go to you. Like, I feel like he's one of the few Newcastle players that actually puts his weight about.
But
So just what Simi is wrapping up with. Nketiah hasn't made the most of his chance, and Balogun should be given the chance next. Yeah, absolutely. It's a strange thing, because Arsene Wenger was always trying to, his Project Youth kind of thing, where he's trying to build the squad around youth players. I feel like that's finally coming to fruition. Bukayo Saka has been an absolute revelation for us since he started. He's been my player of the year so far. He's just every game he's put. Since he's been putting himself about, he's been on blistering form lately. With Lacazette, who's finally found his shooting boots again. So I'm delighted. Kieran Tierney, he's still relatively young, and he's been arguably one of our, if not our best first team player this season.
Yeah.
Emile Smith-Rowe, he's really coming into his own. And I'm delighted because he's always looked like a brilliant prospect to me. And I don't know why we sent him out on loan tail end last season. I think he could really adapt and sort of kind of become almost a kind of in the hole figure for Aubameyang or Lacazette as a provider, or he feels like he's got a good future ahead. And Balogun, as you mentioned, he's like he's another really, really great prospect, and I'm praying that we actually tie him down to a new contract because his contract is due to expire next season as well, I believe.
Yeah. While I was just having a look at more transfer rumours. You can see on my screen that there is Tottenham Sergio Ramos rumours.
I mean, he would be a classic horrible, dirty player, Mourinho.
That's why I'd be worried. Oh yeah, he'd be perfect for Mourinho.
He'd be perfect as a Mourinho.
Yeah, actually, no. Now that I think about it, yeah, let's get him. The other one is Diego Costa. Really?
Is he still going? How old is he? He's got
to be 35 or something, isn't it?
35, 36 or something.
I know.
To be fair, Man United are slowly reaping the benefits of having Cavani in their team. I can't believe they're second in the league.
We beat them 6-1, and yet somehow they're second.
With the side that Man United have, I cannot believe that they are just behind. Is it Liverpool?
Liverpool, yeah. They got the same points, haven't they? But the goal difference is in Liverpool's favour. Whereas Liverpool themselves, they haven't been the best this season. They've just edged out wins. Whereas, there has been other teams like Everton who've been more clinical, but then they let their guard down at the worst possible moment. So I think that's where some of them need to improve. And Tottenham, again, they're too comfortable with keeping a clean sheet, and then they just let a goal in too late, and it just it makes them draw, and then you don't get that many points off a draw. You only get one, and then other teams that win, they go further up. So it's we need to be more clinical in that sense. We need to fair enough, 2 or 3-0, go ahead. You can park the bus a little bit, but if you're 1-0 up, don't just give up. You can't just hang off 90 minutes goal without conceding a goal like that. It's just, you can't do that. But yet in the past few games we have.
Yeah, so here's the other deal that seems to be in the running is Isco from Real Madrid.
He has declined a little bit, but I think that's, I don't know, I think
he's just fallen out of favour, I feel, hasn't he? So
yeah. The other one for me was Sami Khedira.
He's 28, so he's still kind of a spring chicken, really. He's not too over the hill.
Yeah.
And he's Spanish. The Spanish connection with Mikel Arteta.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know?
I don't know. really.
I feel like Everton, they're just going to get so many more players in the January transfer window. Like, there's this report of Sami Khedira now. Like, he's an old player, but I think he would be good for their midfield. If
Ancelotti's really making waves with Everton. I always
know.
thought it was a good decision to bring
I
him
think
in.
I think if not this season, Everton win, then next season I think they have a good chance because like the signings they've got.
Winning a trophy. Yeah.
Any trophy, yeah. I think it'd be.
So Rob, would I take ASM? Oh, Saint Maximum. Well, Saint Maximum is he's I feel like he would fit into our style, all right. I guess he's nippy, kind of very swift on the ball, kind of,
and he can play striker as well, can't he?
Very flary kind of player.
So like Son.
And I mean, well, yeah. I mean, if he was kind of going to be a creative influence, then absolutely. But that's what we kind of need at the moment. Or would Spurs take St. Maximum? He asks.
I think it depends. If we offload Lucas, then yes. If we keep Lucas, then no. That's what I'd say.
1-0 Leicester, apparently.
Oh,
sorry, Simi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Newcastle.
That's the thing. Leicester, when they get going, they get going. But then they can let their guard down pretty easily. They're one of those teams as well.
They've been another dark horse this season, Leicester. They could. I feel like they could be propping up near the top of the table.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of are, really, at the moment. But...
I've heard pundits and things saying that, what's his name, from Southampton, the midfielder.
What's his bloody name? You're right. The double barrel, Ward-Prowse.
James Ward-Prowse, yeah. Feel like it could be a good signing for Spurs as well.
I wouldn't mind Ward-Prowse personally.
Imagine that link up between him and Højbjerg. That would be fantastic.
I've got to say, like, Theo has been doing all right at Southampton at the moment.
Yeah, and Shea Adams, he's been good up front as well.
I do not want to sign Theo back, but I'm just glad to see he's kind of finally found his form again.
Yeah,
in a sense.
And I mean, Carl Walker-Peters is doing all right.
Disaster that he was at Everton, really.
Yeah, I think like Southampton, they're very much like an underdog team, aren't they? They seem like that kind of team. They can get really high up there with what they've got. But
we have all sorts of rumours and things going around that I'm sure we'll probably keep you up to date with over the course of the next few weeks.